Hello, I'm Ray Morris. In today's video, we'll be asking about Hebrews 1 verse 8. Is it thy throne, O God, or God is your throne? Few people are aware that there are two options. The King James Version says in Hebrews 1:8, "But unto the Son he saith, Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever." Goodspeed, an American translation, Moffat's translation, Newcomb's version, and Barclay translations all say something different. They say, God is your throne. The same is found in the marginal readings in the New English Bible, the American Standard Version Bible, the Revised Standard Version, the updated American Standard Version. Sadly, the newest of the American Standard Version series and the most popular English Standard Version removes God is your throne from even their study edition. Okay. The Interpreter's Bible comments on Hebrews 1:8. This epistle does not elsewhere give the name God to the Son in this unrelieved fashion. And verse 9 would seem to suggest another rendering. The alternative is to read, God is thy throne. Young's commentary has, it may be justly rendered, God is thy throne. Either case is applicable. B.F. Westcott of Westcott and Hort fame says in his commentary on Hebrews on page 25, discussing your throne, O God, it is scarcely possible that Elohim in the original can be addressed to the king. The presumption, therefore, is against the belief that, O God, is evocative in the Septuagint. On this, the whole, it seems best to adopt, in the first clause, the rendering, God is thy throne, just as is done in the New World Translation. The Apostle Paul here in Hebrews is quoting Psalm 45 verse 6, which was first written about a human king of Israel. Many scholars say that it was most likely King Solomon, and the psalm was used or sang at a royal wedding. Psalm 45 praises the king's throne, his righteousness, and the fact that God chose him. But verse 7 says something very important. It says, Therefore God, thy God, hath anointed thee. That shows a clear distinction between the king and God. The king is honored, but he is chosen and anointed by God. He receives authority from God. The king isn't God himself. It is highly unlikely that the Israelites would have understood this king to be the Almighty God. The language is high class and royal, but it still keeps God and the king separate. So it was about 1,000 years later, Paul in Hebrews 1 verses 8 and 9 applied this psalm to Jesus, the Messiah. He quotes Psalm 45 and uses it about the Son. But he keeps the same pattern. Hebrews verse 9 still says, God, even thy God, hath anointed thee. So even when the psalm is applied to Jesus, the difference between God and the Son is still highlighted. Actually, all throughout Hebrews 1 verse 1 to 9, the Son is shown as someone who is appointed heir, who became the superior to the angels, who sat down at God's right hand, and who was anointed by God. The repeated theme is this: God gives, the Son receives. But we still have that issue. The original biblical languages have two words close together. So we must consider, should these words translate as your throne, O God, or God is your throne? The grammar of the original language does allow for either option. Your throne, O God, speaking directly to someone, this is known as vocative, and God is your throne, describing God as the foundation of the throne. This is known as nominative. The grammar itself does not force just one meaning. That means we got to look at the context to decide which one best fits. To help explain this, let's use a sailor illustration. Imagine a sailor is handed a piece of paper with just two words, anchor and captain. Those two words could relate in different ways. Someone might say, "Your anchor, O captain," speaking directly to the captain, vocative, or "The captain is your anchor," describing the captain as the sailor's stability, nominative. The grammar allows for both options, but now a clue is added. The captain, your captain has awarded you. Now we see something important. The captain is shown as separate from the sailor and is acting toward him. He gives something to the sailor, so whichever earlier option we choose from must fit that relationship. This shows the captain as the one who gives the award, the sailor as the one who receives it. The reading, "The captain is your anchor," fits naturally because it shows the captain as the source, the awarder of the son's award. Now let's go back to the book of Hebrews. We have a similar situation here. That is, two words close together. Is it "Your throne, O God," speaking directly to someone, vocative? Or is it "God is your throne," describing God as the foundation of the throne, nominative? The grammar allows for both options, but then a similar clue is added. Here in verse 9 it says, "God, your God, has anointed you." This shows God as the one who gives authority and the Son as the one who receives it. So when we look back at verse 8, the best understanding is the one that fits the pattern of giver and receiver. The reading, "God is your throne," fits naturally because it shows God as the source and foundation of the Son's kingship. It keeps the difference between God and the Son. This shows one key point, and that is the vocative, "Your throne, O God," is not the only possible meaning. The grammar does not demand it exclusively. Further, when we read the whole context of Hebrews 1, verses 1 through 9, we see the same pattern again and again. The Son is appointed heir. He becomes superior. He inherits a more excellent name. He is anointed because he loved righteousness. These are all things given to him by God. The picture is not of someone acting alone with self-given authority, but of someone being honored, exalted by God himself. Yes, the question about Psalm 45 and Hebrews 1 is not settled by grammar alone. We do see the context strongly shows a relationship where God exalts and the Son receives. We understand the passage this way because it fits the grammar, the history of Psalm 45, and the flow of Hebrews 1. We don't have a blind belief or conclusion about all this. It is based on reading the text carefully and letting the context guide the conclusion. Noteworthy in Philip Comfort's New Testament Text and Translation Commentary, on page 695, he shows there is a second option, "God is your throne," and says this second option obscures Christ's deity. And something else for thought. There are countless Bible translations that include footnotes showing alternative ways to translate a text, but we rarely see the legitimate, noteworthy alternate option, "God is your throne," highlighted even in the footnotes of those mainstream Bibles. I wonder why.